What? Okay, so a shield.
Huh?
What? Yo, what's that ultimate? Wait, what? Oh my god. This guy's gonna ruin ranked Valorant. Hey guys, welcome back, and we're gonna be talking today about the brand new, hottest, and probably most egoistic duelist of all time in Valorant, ISO. Why his ability kit is very unique, and also why, in my opinion, he might just end up killing ranked quite a bit. Let's get into it. Now, first of all, my first thoughts while watching Harbor, you already saw my reaction, is that this guy, he's got quite some balls, right? And he's very confident about his abilities as an assassin, and he's clearly got the level of ego as much as Chamber or Reyna or Jett. Now let's have a look at his abilities first, because I think that with the way that he has been designed, he's basically a combination of Jett, Reyna, Chamber, and a slight touch of Harbor as well, because of course that wall ability. And so speaking about it, let's begin. First up, Contingency, which is basically a prismatic energy wall, and it is indestructible as it moves forward and has quite some height as well, and is bent around the edges to give a little bit of extra cover. Now this ability is really interesting because it blocks every single bullet that might be shot towards this direction, and it constantly moves forward. Now the best bet for any player would be to stick close to this wall and keep running along with it to gain some space and entry into a site as the attacker, or to find proactive levels of defensive aggression by using it and staying close to it, making coordinated pushes with your teammates so that you can find the most value out of it by covering yourself across most of the other side. Now, how this is going to help you is basically, it's an improved version of, let's say, a Jett's dash, in my opinion, where you can go into a site with basically an indestructible wall. The closer you are, the more you are covered off, and you can keep clearing your corners with your teammates coming alongside you. Moving on to the next, he's got his Undercut, which is another unique ability which I really love. It's a molecular bolt that makes your opponents vulnerable. Now, the only vulnerable, abilities that I can remember as of right now is the Viper Snake Bite when you touch it, and the Killjoy Alarm Bot if it manages to explode in time before you kill. Now, why this ability is really interesting, because this in combination with other abilities can prove to be a havoc for the opponents. This can travel through walls. It goes at least for quite some distance. It's basically the size of an Omen Paranoia. It does not flash you. It will only make you vulnerable. And due to this ability, of course, as we all know, vulnerable, it doubles the damage you give in any fashion from any weapon. Now, a Vandal bullet delivers 40 damage to the body at any range, and if you have this touching the enemy, it basically makes each bullet worth 80 damage. And that is something that allows you to take aim fights. And that's basically what this agent is formed around, ladies and gentlemen. He's an aim-based duelist. He's heavily aim-dependent, and he's going to be quite the menace for people who love playing on their aim. And this is exactly why I mentioned earlier, he is a combination of that Jett, Reyna, and Chamber. And that is going to be what this agent can do with his Undercut ability, which is a really unique thing, and I really love it, because I think this is a completely different, paradigm to what we've seen of the other duelists, and he is very useful in that sense. Next up, his signature move, which is double tap, and that is going to be, of course, if I didn't mention before, Undercut has 2 uses in a single round if you, of course, buy it, so you can see the amount of damage it causes. Same for double tap. His signature ability has 2 charges, and it is again an aim enabled ability that you can use to basically give yourself an indestructible shield for 1 instance of damage. How? You can see in the clip that if you kill an enemy, you instantly have an orb floating above his head for a short duration, which if you break, you get a shield that can protect you from 1 single instance of enemy damage. Now that damage could be either an operator shot, a raise ultimate, or it could be a single classic bullet to the leg as well. That is one con about this, that any bullet from any weapon or from any ability, even if it's a single damage given to this shield, it will instantly break down. You can stack up on this, where basically you take a kill, you get the shield, and then you can use that shield to take a second duel, and then once you kill him, you can activate another shield which you get by killing the second person. Or you can stack up on the shield timer, because it has of course a timer that, you know, the duration that it stays, and the more number of people you keep killing and the more orbs you keep destroying, that timer keeps refreshing. So that's an interesting, you know, aspect of this ultimate of this ability as well. And speaking about the most unique ultimate, which Riot have clearly gone crazy, straight out of Call of Duty, got the gulag here. It is Kill Contract, which basically transports both you and your opponent, the first opponent it touches, into another dimension, where you will take an unbiased 1v1 duel against them with a weapon that you have in your hand, and whoever wins that duel comes out standing as the victor without having taken a single scratch on the other side. Now, there is one thing about this ultimate that gives ISO, you know, his ability to be an ego peeker. Of course, you know, it goes through walls, so whichever the first enemy it touches, it could be anybody, by the way. It could be a Raze who's got his showstopper out in the air. He will instantly be teleported to another dimension. It could be a Brimstone with the Obro Strike ready to go. It could be anybody, and ISO can just find them. The minute it touches that enemy, they're going to be transported to another dimension, where whoever wins the duel comes out. And even if ISO is able to clear this, you know, use this ultimate and clear out, let's, for example, it's great for, you know, pushing out oppers from their angles. You can, you know, it has a very long range, especially you can see it on Haven C site, who's sitting in, you know, a very annoying angle. You can flush him out, take him, make him take a duel, and you can stay in that dimension for as long as you possibly can, so that your teammates can go trade you off even if you lose that duel, because he's gonna spawn back at the same place that he was taken into the other dimension from. So even if you lose your duel in the 1v1 arena, your teammates can rush into the site, take the space that has been created by you making this agent disappear for a couple of seconds, and then they can trade him off, because he's gonna have no chance but to just die there. And that is one thing about this ultimate. Yes, there are pros about this agent, that I think in high ranked lobbies, in the Radiance and the Immortal lobbies, he's going to be quite some menace, because I think that his aim, the aims of these players are going to be rewarded, including pro play, where I believe teams like PaperX will heavily and heartily make use of this agent as a substitution for Reyna, because he's got a very, very interesting kit. And PaperX are the innovators. We've seen them do this with other agents. We've seen them do this with Harbor. They were the ones who started doing all of that stuff, where other people picked up on it, of course, after them. They will be making setups with that undercut, with that contingency, because they love playing on that speed and on that damage, you know, that this agent can cause. The cons of this agent, though, is exactly what I'm going to put in front of you, and I've said it before, is that he could be ruining ranked experiences for a lot of players. Why? Because the players who are, you know, ending up smurfing at the end of the day, they will lock this agent, they will insta-lock him, they will use his aim, they will get unfair advantages because of their aim against players who cannot stand up to him, and it will cause a lot of problems for people who want to play this game a little bit more easily, who want to play this a little bit more casually, and they keep getting annoyed and destroyed by this agent because of how good an aim dueler can use this agent. The level of the skill ceiling, the skill gap is there quite a bit with this agent, because it potentially is telling you, here's an egoistic agent. This is Riot telling you, here's an egoistic agent, go ahead, use him to the best of your aiming abilities and destroy your opponents. And in pro play, there's going to be a lot of brains which can counter him pretty, you know, easily. But in the lower ended lobbies, like the gold, in silver, or in platinum diamond as well, I think there are going to be problems for people who will find this guy a little annoying. So we'll see how it all ends up, though. We'll see how this agent can be improved, how he can be used. I think that in pro play, PaperX is the only team that might be crazy enough to go pick this guy up, and he's only going to be viable in probably a couple of maps. You know, maybe one or two at best in the beginning, because we're gonna have to see how he's going to be utilized, you know, in pro play. But I think we're going to enjoy this agent a lot. in the higher lobbies. Ascendants maybe, but Immortals and Radiants are gonna enjoy this agent. They're gonna insta-lock it at the level that we see Jet and Chamber being insta-locked. So sorry guys, say Riot, as we introduce another insta-locking agent that is gonna come as a fourth to Jet, Reyna and Chamber. But hey, let's find out. Tell me what you think about this new agent. Is he going to be a make or break meta kind of agent, or is he going to be as unviable as Deadlock in the coming days? We'll talk about it more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.